Unsportsmanlike
content.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Unsportsmanlike content is back. It is May 8th. The time is 8:50, and it is good to be back. Like I said, my name is Harry Loomis. I'm here with my boys. Thomas Fornes is below me. Tommy, how you doing?
Fantastic, brother.
Your background's majestic. You look like you got a lovely establishment back there.
Just living in royalty here.
Living in royalty, I love it. And to my left is my good friend Kanan Bielvats. Kanan, how we doing?
Would be better if Milwaukee made it to the second round, but we're alive.
Well, it's funny that you talk about the Bucks because we're going to kick off our episode today talking about the NBA playoffs a little bit. We got the second round going as we speak. We've got Knicks and Pacers going on at this moment. The score is 99-91. Knicks lead with 3 seconds left in the third quarter. Kanan, what's kind of been your biggest takeaway so far from what we've seen through one round and some change?
Well, I can tell you this. The Celtics are coming out of the East. Look, they are nicest teams I have seen in the East for a while. You have key players such as Tatum, Brown. The play, but then you have Porzingis, you have Drew Holiday, you have Horford, you have Hauser, Pritchard, and they're playing within their roles. Al Horford, a veteran of this team, a veteran in general, he can do it all. He can score for you, he can rebound, coming off the bench, starting. It doesn't matter. Porzingis is out until third round, the conference finals. But even if when he comes back and he's at 60, 70%, I still think they'll dominate. Knicks, what a story season so far for them. Like, basketball is better when the Knicks are in the playoffs. I've said this before to y'all, and I'll say it again. Jalen Brunson, 37-9. Josh Hart is averaging 18. OG Anunoby, that mid-season acquisition from Toronto, playing spectacular defense, averaging 15. Then you have Dante averaging 14. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, who, in my opinion, I love. He's one of my favorite players, giving you good minutes when Mitchell Robinson just went down with an injury. And moving into the West now, I just got to say, OKC, they are for real. Please don't let this young team fool you. Yes, they don't have a lot of playoff experience. I thought they wouldn't go this far, but Shea averaging 27-6. You got Chet holding down the paint, giving you a solid and respectable 16, 8, and 3 blocks a game. Jalen's going crazy, 21-7-5. I think if Jalen Green was somewhere else, I think he would be a number one option, but this team is for real. Mavericks have to watch out for them. But my pick coming out the West, it's not Denver, it's not Dallas, it's not the Thunder, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. What a great year for them. Their defense has been looking phenomenal. They've had Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic in hell for back-to-back games in their own arena. Active hands, they trust one another, they constantly communicate. The hustles there. Mike Conley and Alexander Walker, they're taking turns locking up the perimeter, and you have Naz Reid, Gobert locking down the paint, and Anthony Edwards kind of playing that little free safety role, just where he roams, and at the last second you thinking, oh, okay, no one's on me, he tips the ball out. But what a season Ant is having. I think he's in my MVP race for next year. He's going to be something special. I think he's going to win next year. But Minnesota, all in all, they're just – I never thought I would see a Minnesota Timberwolves team as complete as they did. That's what happens when you – and hey, great results come to you.
Yeah, I was kind of worried for the Timberwolves' outlook when they gave up so much for Rudy Gobert. I mean, he's the Defensive Player of the Year, and defense has been key in this series. The Timberwolves' defense looked unbelievable on Monday. You know how rare it is to take a team as offensively gifted like the Nuggets and hold them to 80 points in 2024 NBA basketball. It says everything you need to know about them. I think they've been arguably the most impressive team in these playoffs. I had the Nuggets winning this series probably in 6 games. I just thought the brilliance of Nikola Jokic with Jamal Murray, if he played half as well as he did in that Lakers series, I think the Nuggets would be in control of this thing. But hey, they say defense wins championships, and the Timberwolves are on their way. On the East, I agree with you. I think it's really cool to see the Knicks playing as well as they did. I remember when we talked about the OG Anunoby trade. We talked about with the Bucks kind of in free fall at that point, the Sixers having issues with Joel Embiid. There was a very clear path to the Knicks to make the conference final, and if they hold on to this lead, they'll be 2 games away from that. I still don't think they beat the Celtics. I agree with you there, but really, really good stuff from the Knicks, and this definitely isn't a one-off either. This feels like a sustainable window that they have open now with all these acquisitions. Really cool stuff to see. I want to ask both of you. Tommy, I'll start with you. Which series, if any, in the first round did you enjoy the most? Did you think was the best? In my opinion, I thought the most underrated was probably Orlando Cleveland. I think that's both two really young teams. I think the sky's the limit for the Magic. But Donovan Mitchell, man, what a performance down the stretch in that series to get it done. The Cavs' first win since pre-LeBron without him being on the team. Tommy, which series did you like the most?
And I really enjoyed that New York Philly series. There's nothing like Madison Square Garden when things are popping, and I've always been inclined to like the Knicks. Something about the history there, the colors, the logo. I've always been really in tune with the culture with Spike Lee and all the celebrities going to the games. So that was definitely my favorite by far. A quick side note: I'm not as tuned in as you guys are, but it really does seem like this is officially the year where the torch has been passed from that past generation of stars. I don't know if that's the consensus here, but it seems like, man, all the younger stars are coming into their own, and it feels like a new era in the NBA.
I would agree. I think LeBron out in the first round, KD swept out of the building in the first round, Curry getting knocked out in the 10-9 game in the play-in tournament. I kind of agree with you. It feels like a little bit of the passing of the torch. Even Jokic is getting beat right now. Giannis obviously missed the first round. But it really feels like we're seeing the new guard take over, and it's not even fully here. You know what I mean? Like Victor Wembanyama, for example. The Spurs are still a year or two away from even making the play-in tournament, but this next generation, man, they can hold their own. I think you might debate who you think the face of the NBA might be going forward, at least in this wave, but to me, it's Anthony Edwards, man. That guy, it's hard to find a more likable superstar in any sport. Anthony Edwards plays such a fun style of basketball. He seems like a good guy. He seems like he cares. He seems like he cares about his team, about his city, about winning. I mean, he checks off all the boxes of a superstar for me.
100%. Like, I have never seen a generation come into a league hungry, wanting to take the crown off of people's heads like this generation. Usually there's a 3 to 5 gap period. There's no gap period with what we're seeing now. People are coming into the league more confident than ever, more skilled than ever, and they're looking at these players that they looked up to, like, hey, yeah, I looked up to you, but now I'm an old yeller you. I'm gonna take you out back. Your time is done. It's my time now. But I still don't think the older players of the generations, like the mid 2000s, 2010s, I don't think they're ready to give it up. I know for a fact Curry's ready to run it back, KD ready to run it back, Braun ready to run it back, and those are pretty much gonna be weird not seeing Curry, KD, or LeBron not on that court, but it's gonna happen. But I am fully trusting of this new generation of players. But for the face of the NBA, I got to go Victor Wembanyama. Did you see what he said during his Rookie of the Year acceptance? Whatever. He was like, I set the bar too low. I didn't meet expectations this year. You didn't meet expectations this year. I mean, brother, your only expectations were to win Rookie of the Year, but the mentality he has, the team first mentality. There was back in when Drake came to San Antonio, he was like, "Yo, I want to bring you out on stage." He was like, "Can my team come?" He's like, "Nah, I just want you." And Victor denied that. It's like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the connection that they have of those two teams. It's just so deep. Like Victor, that's going to be your face. That's who you market as. But Ant is another valid choice. I got to go with Victor. I mean, just the credibility this guy already has. He's been playing professional since I think he was 15, 16, similar to Luka Doncic. Just it's refreshing to see generations coming into the league not afraid of taking that next step, not really with high expectations on kill mode, and I love it. I really do.
I want to ask you guys two questions here. First things first, we talked the kind of the old guard that we were talking about, the fact that they're probably done. It seems like all three of them, Curry, LeBron, and Durant, not only is their time at the top coming to an end, but their team's time feels like it's coming to an end. So, of those three, who do you think is in the best position to bounce back next year? Team-wise.
Team-wise, ooh.
My gut tells
I think that's hard to say.
That's fair. My gut tells me right now would be Phoenix, because I feel like that team's too talented to fail. But at the same time, all three of these guys are in the West, and the West is just so good right now. In a lot of sports, you talk about a team that's, even if they're in the playoffs, they're an automatic first-round exit. But I feel like depending on where you're at and what division you're in, the bar's different. A first-round exit in the West might be a 5 seed. It might be the Los Angeles Clippers. But the Clippers right now could probably make the conference finals in the East. It's a matter of where you're at.
I gotta. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying. I think of those three teams, I would give it to the Suns because I think they have the most talent. I think I have to wait and see on what the Lakers do replacing Darvin Ham, but I could see them having a good year as well. But they have to. I feel like they're going to start load managing LeBron a little bit more, and I wonder how that hurts them come playoff seeding, because if they play the Nuggets again first round, 5 games at the most.
Yeah, but thing is, I think LeBron's going to opt out of his contract, and I don't know where he goes. I don't know if he's going to wait till Bronny even gets signed with the team or drafted. I don't know if he's going to reload with the Lakers. I don't know if he's going to go back east to Cleveland or to Miami. That's the thing. I don't know. I mean, the Suns are in the best position because when you look at the Lakers, they fired their entire coaching staff. No coach is from last year is going to be on that next year's coaching staff. You have Anthony Davis, who, what I would want them to do, trade him. Trade him. You can get so much. Harry, I know you're confused, but their window of winning a title, it's done. They're not, unless they get Trae Young from Atlanta, but I'm pretty sure San Antonio and Greg Popovich, they're going to drive a hard bargain to get him and pair him up with Wemby. You got to let LeBron go. You got to trade AD, and you got to just build for your future. Warriors, they got a lot of nice young key pieces, but they're still a couple of seasons away. Curry, I mean, he's never going to leave Golden State, but you got to pair him with players that trust the process. You still have a top 10 player in Devin Booker. You still have a competent center in Nurkic. Just by default, it's got to be the Suns.
I'll let Tommy answer this, and then I'll get back to you on the Lakers.
Gotcha.
I don't know about next year, but I think long-term wise, you gotta stick with Curry. I don't know if anyone else's game will translate into the older age like his will. I mean, that shot, he's not going to lose it. It's always.
You lose athleticism, you lose speed, but if you can shoot, you can still play.
That's a really good point, Tommy. But Kanan, I want to get back to you on the Lakers, because what if? I agree. If LeBron leaves, blow it up. This team's not good enough. If you didn't have LeBron, you wouldn't even try to be competitive right now, in my opinion. So, what if LeBron wants to stay? You're not trading Anthony Davis.
No.
What do you do? What do you do then?
If LeBron decides to have hey, I want to finish off my career in LA, honor everyone in my career, you got to keep AD. You get D'Angelo Russell the hell out of there, because he's Mr. Inconsistent for the last 2 playoffs. Did he have a great season this year? Yes, because of the trade allegations. Every time I see this, it's every year with this guy. He plays like shit. turns it up during the mid-season where he's above. Looking like you shot 1 for 11, 1 for 12. I need somebody that can shoot. And you're saying, oh, D'Lo's an okay shooter. He's had the best shooter. He's leading the Lakers in a single season, 200 something. Do you want Trae Young? That's a name that's been thrown around a lot with LeBron. I would like that a lot. Give you a secondary ball handler, somebody that can actually knock down shots in key moments. You gotta get a coach that knows what the hell he's doing. You can't let LeBron just be the coach on the. No, you need somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, not an Arthur lookalike sitting with his hands in his pockets while other teams are going on a 20-0 run. You can't have that. I really like Jackson Hayes. I really think he's a good backup center. If you play him 13, 14 minutes a game, he'll do the job. Max Christie, give him some more minutes. Austin Reeves, that's your fourth best option. Keep Taurean Prince, but come playoff time, limit his minutes. They need a backup too. I do not like Cameron Reddish. I mean, but the thing is with LeBron, if he stays with LA, you got to give him another point guard. You got to give him a coach, and LeBron's not a coach killer, in my opinion. Darvin Ham didn't know what the hell he was doing out there. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Rob Pelinka. Can he make another good trading? I mean, this trade window during this year. Good, I'm not going to lie. But D'Angelo Russell just stunk the bed for them. There's so many players that can fit with LeBron, but I gotta wait till the end of the year to see, okay, who's gonna fit best. But I know he needs a point guard. I know Anthony Davis, and this is by far this was Anthony Davis' best year, health-wise and career-wise, in my opinion. I said it before, when AD is healthy, he's a top 5 player in the game. Quote me on that, tweet me on that. I really do. But you gotta get a third star. You have to, if you want to win a championship with LeBron. Because LeBron's not going to go, I'm just going to go mediocrity into retirement in LA. Hell no, that's not LeBron. LeBron wants to win. He wants to establish himself as the GOAT. If you have him as the GOAT, that's entirely up to you. I don't even know where I have him all the time, 1 or 2. It depends every day. But you got to get a point guard. You got to re-sign Anthony Davis. Play LeBron at the 3, AD at the 4, Reeves at the 2, Trae Young at the 1, and find whoever the hell for the 5. Anthony Davis at the 5, I like that, but that's not his natural role. And AD's natural role is at the 4. You get some nice key bench pieces. You play your young guys. Jared Vanderbilt, when healthy, is a. I'm sorry, bro, but your time in LA has gone. It's time to send you back to anywhere. Any team, you can get something nice from. You can get a couple key first-round picks, maybe a mid to late, and build through the draft. And before I say that, like, oh, no, just like, oh, don't draft this guy and develop him. No, look at Miami. All of their key players they've drafted, whether it's high, mid, low. Jaime Garcia,
Jaime Garcia, the Cardinals left-handed pitcher from the 2010.
No. What's the guy's name on the Heat? The Hispanic guy. He played in Houston. Vasquez.
It's a long way from Garcia.
Man, look, bro, I'm on a rant, but the Lakers could have got him. They could have got him. And then I think they got who the hell did? I don't know. I think they got some point guard, but you could have got him. You could have got him, and that could have been such a easy slot in for the backup 2, backup 3 for him. But you didn't. You got, I think it was Jalen Hood. It sounds right. Yep. You got to do better for the Lakers. But I already said it. Get a backup center. Get a starting center. Move LeBron to the 3. Please don't have LeBron run the 5 no more. He's 40. Okay? He can't do that. He can't run the 5. Please don't do that. Have AD at the 4. I want to see a shooting center at the 5. Space that floor out. I mean, they could honestly call Minnesota if they fall apart and get Cat. I personally would like that a lot. But Harry, do you not like that?
No, that'd just be a wild move. Like how, like I don't see the Timberwolves trading Cat anytime soon. But I kind of get what you're saying though. With the AD talk, they definitely, AD and LeBron is a really good duo. It'd be unbelievable 10 years ago, but they do need more pieces. I agree with you there. One last thing before we
Yeah,
move on. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to go on a big tangent. My bad, boys.
You're all right. Last thing before we move on, I would be remiss if we didn't discuss this real quickly. They announced the MVP voting today. Nikola Jokic is now a three-time most valuable player in the NBA. Real quickly, yes or no, did they get it right? Kanan.
Yes, 100%. Look, I love Shy. I love Luca, but Shy, you take Shy off Thunder, they're still a playoff team. That young core is phenomenal. Luca, I see the arguments made for Luka Doncic, and I can respect them. But the key thing is, the first half of the season, he was nowhere to be found compared to this level that he's playing at post All Star break in the regular season. He was averaging a triple double, but the Jokic, right choice, dominated the entire season. 57 and 25. A lot of people are like, oh, but the Thunder had the number one seed. Yeah, they do, but the Nuggets had the same record. People, they got it right. In my opinion, he should have been a four-time MVP, but great pick. Deserved.
They, they at least made up for last year. Tommy, do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree I agree as well. Real quickly, last thing, real quick. MVP picks for next year. Right? If you had to pick right now. Tommy, do you have an idea?
I'll go Anthony Edwards.
That was gonna be my pick. Kanan?
In order, Ant, Giannis, Ja.
I'll say Shea gets it next year. I think Shea's right on the door. I'll pick Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because I don't think these Thunder are going away anytime soon. All right, that wraps up our NBA playoff talk. I think we've kind of agreed to the consensus that right now it would be Celtics Timberwolves the way that the playoffs are going right now. Obviously, there's a long way to go. Anything could happen. We'll see. The Nuggets are down 2-0. They lost both of their games at home. But as we move on to the NHL playoff talk, I would like to say that the Dallas Stars have shown that is not an insurmountable mountain to climb. They were down 2-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights, lost both games at home to start that series. They won in 7, a really tightly competitive series there. And I don't want to brag, boys, but I'm gonna. On this channel, I made a video of with myself predicting, kind of picking out my bracket for the NHL playoffs. And not to pat myself on the back, I went 8 for 8 guessing the teams that would make it to the second round. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate the applause. Do I feel confident about my second round picks? No. I think a lot has changed. Some injuries have taken place that are going to make things very interesting. But I made a video talking about my thoughts on the first round, so I'm not going to get too heavy into it. But I think the biggest storyline probably is a team that didn't advance, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I talked about in that video. They are done. That core is going to get blown up. They have to do something. I think Sheldon Keefe is gone. Their head coach, Brendan Shanahan, the president, is probably gone. I think at least one of the core four, most likely Mitch Marner, will get traded. I wouldn't be surprised to see John Tavares, their captain, also get traded with 1 year left on that contract at $11 million cap hit. But we've seen some really, really good hockey from the teams that are left. Let me tell you, last night on Tuesday, we got 2 overtimes. Carolina, New York, I think was the game of the playoffs so far. I have the Carolina Hurricanes winning the Stanley Cup. I think this is the year if it's ever going to happen. But they're in a hole. They're down 2-0. The Rangers took care of both series. And you really got to thank Igor Shesterkin for that. He was spectacular on Tuesday. He broke out in 22 with a Vezina Trophy season, had one of the best seasons in a long time. Hasn't quite been to that level ever since then. Last night, 57 shots he faced in that double overtime game. Stopped 54 of them. 947 save percentage. He put the team on his back, getting Igor chance. It was awesome to see. Vincent Trocheck, MVP of my fantasy hockey team this year, scoring the overtime winner. The Stars coming out to play for the Rangers. Madison Square Garden, what's bigger than that? And on the West Coast, I think Colorado was one of the most impressive teams in the first round. They got shelled by Winnipeg in the regular season. They faced them in the first round. and they beat them 4-1. Spanked them, mopped them. 28 goals in 5 games against the goalie that's going to win the Vezina Trophy this year against an elite defense. I underrated Colorado this year. They fell off. But, dude, when they get to this point, they play some of the best hockey, and they showed it last night. An OT winner against the Dallas Stars. They were down 3-0 in that game in the first period. Came back to win it 4-3. Miles Wood scoring the overtime winner in that one. I'm really impressed by what I've seen from the Avalanche. I have the Stars making the conference finals over the Avalanche. But, man, they're going to have to stop Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, and the boys. They are buzzing right now. And another series that's been really interesting, Boston, Florida. Boston had 1 day off in between Game 7 against Toronto and Game 1 in Sunrise playing Florida. The Panthers had about a week off. You would think that benefits Florida. Boston won that game 5-1. I think a lot of people have Florida winning that game, and they're answering in a big way. Florida's one of those teams like Colorado where they can blitz you at any point. Tonight, they're about to win 6-1. So there hasn't been a close game in that series yet. Really could see it going either way. Obviously, the Bruins have some demons to avenge. Last year, winning his team in regular season history, blew a 3-1 lead to the Panthers in the first round, who went to the Stanley Cup final. So that series is going to be interesting. I actually have the Bruins winning that one. And lastly, we have Edmonton facing Vancouver. This series is going to be really, really fun. The Oilers have been the hottest team in the league since about December. They had a disastrous start, and they've been unbelievable since then. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are two of the best playoff performers in the 21st century. That's not an exaggeration, even though they've made the third round only one time in their careers. You look at the stats. 2022, they were both at about 2 points per game, which is ridiculous in the playoffs. And they haven't really had to do quite as much heavy lifting in the first round against LA. They got goaltending this year. Stuart Skinner's been really, really good. He had a masterpiece in a 1-0 win against LA in the first round. And they've got depth scoring now. They got the best depth I've seen the Oilers have in this era. And they've got a really good opportunity here against the Vancouver Canucks, who I have making the Stanley Cup final. But Vancouver's in trouble, man. They won the series against Nashville with 3 goalies. But you need Thatcher Demko back. He's not going to be back till at least Game 4. I think if they can get at least one game of the 3, if Demko's able to come back in Game 4, that puts you in a good spot. If you can get 2, even better. But we're going to have to see somebody step up for the Canucks. They're early in their window. No one expected them to win the division this year, but they look really, really good. They're a team that should translate well into the playoffs. There's not a bad matchup here. That's what I love about this playoff. I talked about it the first round. There were some teams that didn't really belong there, but the second round is shaping up to be as good as any round we've seen in a long time. All 8 teams would be deserving Stanley Cup winners, so I'm really excited for it. You guys keep up with it at all?
I won't lie to you. I haven't watched a single second of playoff hockey, unfortunately. The NBA playoffs, that's completely consumed my life.
But we love hearing you talk about it, but
Yeah, we do.
Well, I appreciate it, boys. I got to say, we're missing out. Playoff hockey, I'm a NASCAR guy at heart. There's nothing I love more in this world, in this sports world, I should say, than playoff hockey. It's the best of the best. Nothing comes close to it. But I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this one team that is not in the playoffs, the team with the best record that didn't make it in this year. The St. Louis Blues were from St. Louis, obviously, and they made news this week announcing that they would be taking the interim tag of head coach Drew Bannister. Drew Bannister came in December 12th after Craig Berube was fired following a loss to the Red Wings. I hated the move. I hated firing Berube. Berube's my guy. I'll always have love for him winning us a cup. But it made sense. Hockey coaches those jobs are about as fickle as any job in professional sports. If something goes wrong, they were the first ones to fall on the sword, so it made sense. Bannister did a decent job. I can't lie. He doesn't instill the most confidence in me. I don't see him as a long-term answer, but I think for where we're looking this next year, give him a chance. He unleashed the youth a little bit. He was able to get good minutes for guys like Zach Bolduc, Matt Kessel, Scott Perunovich, who I really want to see break out next year. Zach Dean as well. He unleashed those guys a little bit. It seems like the players like him. It seems like he gets a good message across. So I'll give him a shot. The guy I wanted to see, it sounds like the Blues had their heart set on Jim Montgomery. Jim Montgomery is the coach of the Bruins. They blew a 3-1 lead last year, his first year on the job, even though they broke the record for points. This year, they were up 3-0 on the Leafs. They went to a Game 7, and all the reports were if they lost, Jim Montgomery is out the door. They won. They're going on. Doesn't surprise me that 3 days later, the interim tag is taken off of Drew Bannister. I think it makes sense. The guy I would have liked to see, though, is David Carl. He's the head coach at the University of Denver. Young guy, 34 years old, has won 2 national championships in the last 3 years. I would have loved to see the Blues go bold and try to hire a guy like that. But realistically, knowing where this team's at this year, I think Bannister makes sense for one more year. Who knows where we're at this upcoming year? I don't know for a 92-point team like we were in 2024. And if we are, I don't know if that's a great place to be. I think you almost would rather sell off a little bit and fall down, get another top 10 draft pick, because I don't know if you're able to move up into a legitimate Stanley Cup contender with what you have right now. The 2 biggest question marks are what you do between Jordan Kyrou and Pavel Buchnevich. Kyrou's no movement clause, it's a no trade clause, that kicks in starting this year. There's a lot of complaints about Kyrou's game. He's got 6 years left on that deal at $8.125 million. And Pavel Buchnevich is due for a huge extension, a huge raise next year. I think you don't start the season with both of them. I would rather see them trade Kyrou and sign Buchnevich to a 5-6 year deal. I think that would be a great value deal. But I don't know if that gets done. I feel like Buchnevich would be easier to trade at this point in time than Kyrou would, because Kyrou is younger. He has more term, but there's concerns about his game, about his character, because of what happened this year, the deal with Craig Berube, getting booed out of the stadium by fans and everything like that. Buchnevich has just put his head down and gone to work. He had a bad year this year, but you know what you're getting out of him. So I'm really curious. The other thing, I wonder what happens with Jordan Binnington. Goalies are so inconsistent. Binnington was spectacular this year. He's the only reason why we came close to a playoff spot, him and Robert Thomas. I think I might be open to the idea of trading him. That sounds crazy to say. I love Jordan Binnington. Love him. Everything about him. But is he going to be better than he was this year? He's got 3 years left on a contract, $6 million per year. That's not a bad deal. You look at teams like the Kings, who have not had goaltending. Cam Talbot had a good start to the year. They got shelled by the Oilers. Goaltending is an obvious need. You have a team like the Devils, who do not have a clear-cut number one. They tried Vitek Vanacek last year, didn't work. They tried Akira Schmid last year, worked. This year, didn't work. There were reports about them trying to get a guy like Jacob Markstrom from the Flames. He hasn't gone anywhere yet. I think if you're going to trade Binnington, this is the time. I think you have a guy in Joel Hofer. Hofer had a really good year, his rookie year. I think you give him, I don't want to say give him the keys to the city, but have him start 45, 50 games, sign a veteran fringe starter, a Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman type situation, have him play about 35 or so games, and just see what you have. I don't think this team is a cup contender. They are too far away. They have to make too many fixes to be a cup contender. You have to overhaul the defense. You need more depth scoring. You can't play with 5 borderline fourth liners in this league and expect to win, especially in the Central Division. You can't. Colorado's better. Dallas is better. They're going to be for a long time. Winnipeg was way better this year. I don't know what their outlook is. Nashville's ahead of schedule. The Wild could be coming back. They had a bad year this year. Once they get the Suter and Parise cap or capture penalties off their books, look out. The Blackhawks are up and coming. Who knows what happens with the Utah? The outlook these next 2 to 3 years does not favor the Blues. So I think you trade Binnington. I don't want to see it. It's going to hurt my heart to see Binnington playing for another team. I've defended him more than just about anybody. But I think business-wise, it makes the most sense for the Blues.
When you first said that, I was like, why? Why? He, like you said, he was the main reason why we weren't one of the worst teams in the league. But the more and more I heard you speak about it, I do agree, we can get a really, really nice trade with him. It's hard because you grow connected to a player for so long. You want to see him in that blue and white, that blue and black, that blue and gold. But like you said, his contract is so movable. I think you got to do it as well. I hate to agree with that part, but like you said, we're stuck in the mud. Like, we're not going up. If anything, we're probably just going to head more down. Right? I think that's the way you got to run it. I think you do got to trade Binnington, but at the same time, it's just like it's going to hurt so much.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I think the Devils are a match made in heaven. They're going to try to get either him or Jacob Markstrom. There's reports of Yusei Saros and the Predators being available for trade. I wouldn't do that if I were them. They showed they're a playoff team. Are you going to be better trading a top 5 goalie in the league? I don't think you are. The Flames are on the downhill. The Blues are on the downhill. I think you offload those guys. I think that's an easy first-round pick. Honestly. You know how hard it is to trade for a good goaltender in this league? Goaltending now is about as inconsistent as it's ever been. A lot of the guys are young. A lot of the top guys are young. Jeremy Swayman's young. Connor Hellebuck has been in Winnipeg forever. He just signed an 8-year deal. You're not getting him. Your time to get him was last year before he signed that contract. Shesterkin's not going anywhere. Swayman, like I said, he's not going anywhere. There's plenty of teams that need goaltending help badly.
I gotta agree. I think Hoffer has something about him. Like, I don't know how to describe, but he just has that natural it, if that makes sense. Tommy, what do you think, bro?
Bro, don't ask me. Seriously, don't ask me. I don't know.
It's a sore subject for him. He's got a soft spot for Binnington like I do.
I do love Binnington, but obviously I haven't kept up as closely.
I was only watching the Blues this entire season, and when we didn't make it, I just stopped watching. But
yeah, I don't. That's my thing. I don't even watch NHL unless it's Blues in the playoffs.
I think you gotta pull the trigger. As much as it's gonna hurt us, we got to.
I wouldn't say this if you didn't have a guy in Joel Hofer. Joel Hofer made a believer out of me, honestly. A 9-10-ish save percentage in your first year is not bad. We've had issues with guys before.
And a record as well.
Husso was inconsistent. Thomas Greiss last year wasn't great. Hofer you've had for a long time. You should know what you have in him by now. 9-10 your first year. That's why I'm saying don't make him your starter. Don't give him Hellebuck games. Don't make him play 65.
He's a big old goalie.
50, just do it. I think that's my plan. I'll probably make a video on my own talking about this a little bit more in the future. We're going to move on now to the most talked about team in St. Louis, for better or worse, the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know if I'm exaggerating when I say that last year was the worst day of the past 2 years, maybe the worst day of the Marmol era. Had a 3-0 lead, blew it. Lost Wilson Contreras, who's probably been your best player this year for probably 2 months because of a broken arm. Because what the hell were you doing that close to JD Martinez? I get he was a little bit behind the box, but still, it's not like he hit him on the tip of his fingertips. He hit him all the way down here.
They wanted him to get his lower strikes more accurate or more framed. And what kind of idiot says that to a guy who's one of the best catchers in the league and all-star? He knows what the hell he's doing. And you want to
saying, why the hell are we constructing the wheel with Contreras?
Shit, man.
We threw him under the bus last year for who the knows why.
I feel so bad for him because
and now this year he's our best hitter. Why
he's
are
our
we
best
having to
player.
move up that close? What
He's
are
our
we
best
trying
player.
to do?
He's been our best player this entire season. And like you said, last year we threw him to the wolves. This year we threw him to JD Martinez. No hate on JD Martinez, but
No, I don't blame him at all for that. By the way,
and just like what the are we doing with him, man? Like, are we
is
going to?
Yachty that brilliant that we need to reteach every catcher we get how to play the position? And if so, why the did we sign Contreras to $85 million? What logic was there to that? And another thing too, on top of this, now that he's gone, good luck Herrera. I like Herrera so far, by the way. I think he looks good. But let's see what you have in Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, and Lance Lynn now that they don't have their starting catcher. We saw what happened with Rick Ankiel. He didn't have Mike Matheny, and he spent the rest of his career as an outfielder because he got the yips. Because his new catcher literally couldn't catch his wild pitches in the dirt. Mike Matheny would have been able to. So,
yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to have anything that crazy, but I'm just saying,
yeah,
you break your catcher's arm, you might get different results. Sonny Gray might not still be a 1 ERA pitcher. He looks great, by the way. I was wrong about him.
He has been our sunshine this entire year. Kyle Gibson, I really like. Lynn, but like I can get into so many players that like, okay, this is their one of the blame player wise. Number one, I think we all know who I'm about to say. Goldie, love him as a player, but I'm about to read you his stats: 183 batting average, 329 slugging, 6.624 OPS. This guy has 26 hits in 35 games, 47 strikeouts.
That one last night was bad, dude. It was a fastball. It's not like it even moved. It was just way off the plate.
I'm gonna say it. The Goldie Arenado era was a failure. We gotta look. Arenado, keep him, okay? He's been our second best player this entire year. He's reliable, but Goldie's got to go. He's got to go. I don't know what the hell we're gonna get for him, but he's got to go. And the second person who we spoke so highly about this kid that he's gonna be this, he's gonna be that. I don't know what the happened to him, but Nolan Gorman, what the happened to you? Like I don't understand. 175 batting average, strikes out just as much, probably more than Goldie. Chases everything. All that awareness, all that buildup, completely fell the off.
The thing with Gorman is you know where you're getting from him. Those numbers make sense aside from the power numbers. If he's hitting 30 home runs like he is last year, you can take the 30% strikeout rate, but he's not.
Exactly.
I was at the game against Milwaukee where he struck out with the bases loaded to end the game. He had 4 strikeouts. Looked horrible. But also, 2 things. One, I agree on Goldie. I think you're being a little bit too nice to Arenado. He does not look right. He's our best hitter on paper. Watch him. He doesn't look right. His first couple weeks, he looked like he was in some sort of pain. And secondly, a guy that's not even here, I get he's young, but we got to start holding Jordan Walker accountable.
That too.
He got sent down this time on merit. He wasn't hitting like an MLB player. You can expect it from Victor Scott. I'm surprised he even made the team to begin with. He doesn't if Dylan Carlson's healthy.
I'm his favorite player, by the way.
Which, by the way, he came back first game batting middle of the lineup because that tells you how well we're doing this year. Walker got off to a slow start last year, too. I get it's his rookie year. They screwed him up with the launch angle stuff. But this year, how many balls has he hit hard even? Not a lot. Your best hitter was Wilson Contreras, and his arm exploded into sawdust.
Dude, so here's the thing. I mean, I know last episode we were doing a preview of this season.
Oh, yeah, Tommy's the optimist, by the way.
I was the optimist
on this podcast. You can tell by the background.
And, you know, I don't have much time to actually watch Cardinals games nowadays. But the first game this season, I was like, you know, I'll sit down and I'll watch this thing. I tune in. I immediately see a fly ball to Victor Scott that he horribly misplays. Just horribly misplays. Lets a run in. Next inning, maybe it was a few innings later, game on the line, no outs. He gets an infield single, rounds into fair, territory.
First thing they teach you growing up, pull off to the other side.
I mean, I'm a pretty forgiving person when it comes to like athletes and mistakes. I understand it happens, but that is something that is inexcusable. I can't wrap my head around the fact that a major league player could let that happen.
We gave Kanan a lot of crap when we went out and did stuff. That's the kind of thing where if we were playing baseball one day and Kanan rounded the wrong way, we'd like smack the crap out of the back of his hand like he's a bad dog or something like that. Victor Scott's an MLB player, dude. Like I don't know how that happens. You know,
the offense.
we most of us, 2 out of the 3 of us expected us to be pretty bad this year, which we are. They're doing it the complete opposite way that I expected to. I thought the bats would be fine. The starting pitching would be the problem. Sonny Gray looks fantastic.
Opposite. Like I'm sorry for interrupting, but I wrote down our offensive stats, and Harry, please get ready to use that bleep button a lot this video.
I'm already ready. I've heard you.
Third worst in hits. We have the worst home run. We have the 3rd worst batting average, 5th worst on base percentage, 4th worst slugging, and 4th worst OPS. This is not Cardinal baseball, okay? Any sort of magic that we had on that 2011 run, that shit dried up in 2016. We've been living in the past for the last 7, 8. I can't do math, but y'all get the point.
Decade.
The decade, exactly.
The best way I've heard someone describe it is we struck gold with that 2011 team by making the wild card and turning that into a winner. And they've tried to replicate that same formula ever since.
I just want to say this. I want Steven Matz launched into the anytime I see him play, I already know I am going to get mad. My blood pressure is going to rise, and I might have a couple of strokes watching this guy play. Kyle Gibson, hey, I'm going to give him credit. He's been not that bad. Our bullpen isn't even that bad either. We had the 5th best bullpen in the National League. I think we have like a 3.39 ERA.
I can't even give Marmol credit for the bullpen because he ruined Giovanni Gallegos.
Ollie has got to go. Like I don't think there's ever been a manager I've hated more than this guy. And you know it's bad when the semi-casual starting to turn more into this sport wants him gone. Like this isn't the Cardinals I grew up with. This isn't the Cardinals that my parents watched when they first came to America. This isn't the Cardinals that won championship that I had to stay up in 2006. This wasn't the same Cardinals team where I stayed up in 2011 when I had 7th grade gym class the next following morning, first period.
No, they won the World Series on a Friday night, by the way.
Well, you know what I mean, like
it felt like it.
That entire series was. But bro, we gotta get our shit together. I call Yachty, call Albert, call Wayno, call Chris, call anyone. Just call Miami because they might kill Skip. We need a complete overhaul in not only how the fans react to this shit, but our management. We got to improve this shit. We got to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. This isn't the Cardinal way. We are known as winners. I am sick and tired of seeing Chicago ahead of us, Milwaukee ahead of us, Cincinnati. We were big brother to Cincinnati for so long. Now they're above us. Pirates, they suck ass. But who? What's their pitcher? Star pitcher?
Paul Skeens
in the minors.
Paul Skeens.
No. He's about to make his debut Saturday against the Cubs, I think. And I can already see this. I see us finishing last in the division if this shit doesn't turn around. The offense has to wake up. Ollie has got to go. And this isn't a prediction. It is a spoiler. If this season sucks, next season, we're going to see barely any fans. We're going to get barely any income. Fuck Valley Sports. I can't even watch a Cardinals game. I got to go to Stream East and Met Streams, and I'm just like, what the hell am I watching here? This season needs to wake the up now. It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is that this god-awful team right now, say with your chest, it's a god-awful team. They suck. It's exact, and the 31,000 fans that we're getting every night, not indicative of Busch Stadium. Cardinals fans are good. It says a lot when you have 15,000 empty seats. It's exactly what Mo deserves. It's exactly what the front office deserves. You know how hard it is to emotionally neuter St. Louis Cardinals fans to the point to where they don't even want to show up to the stadium.
It is so
To where
fucking-
I can go to Bleacher SeatGeek and get bleacher seats for $1.
That's actually happening.
I don't even know what you're saying, but the fact that this isn't the Cardinals.
Oh, I said
Let's be honest. We have the fact that we've in the past 2 years we've had Matt Holliday resign before the season started. It could be because of Jackson. Could be because he hates the front office. Could be issues with Marmol. Who knows? Yachty was supposed to come in. He's not here. Could be issues with the front office. Could be issues with Marmol. Could be not issues with Jackson Holliday. So I don't know what the problem is. But you have two Cardinal legends of the past decade up and abandoned the team. Had commitments, said, nope, I don't want a part of this. When has that ever happened, dude? When has that ever happened? Dude, you lost the series to the White Sox, who might, honest to God, be the worst baseball team ever put together.
When I was
one of their better players. And the only move that came out of it was putting Giovanni Gallegos on the IL. This team, I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to say they don't care. They don't give a f***. And why not? And you said next year there's going to be no fans there. If there are no fans, or if this season continues the way it is, no fans showing up, team sucks. If Marmol and Mo are still there next year, you're going to be right. But if that happens, they're further from the Cardinals than I ever could have imagined. Because my dad's a huge Cardinals fan, loves baseball with all of his heart. Grew up with it. He's everything you can think of in a baseball fan. Loves baseball, loves the Cardinals. We have YouTube TV. Bally Sports is not on there. He cannot watch the Cardinals, and I'm not sure he's worse off because of it. This team is awful. You know how many positive conversations we have about the team anymore?
2.
Maybe 1. Hey, I'm going to the game tonight. That's it. Next conversation. How'd it go? We lost.
I'm pretty sure the Vashon Wolverines JV baseball team can have a better offense than we do. It's just
I didn't even know that was Vashon's mascot.
No, shout out Mario McKinney. But we just suck. There's nothing else to say. If I see this happening. I see us going down, just hitting the floor, and we're gonna stay on that floor. God forbid, 5-10 years. I don't want that. I don't want to raise my future children with the Cardinals sucking. I want them to be like, hey, I watched the Cardinals when they were good. I don't want to be that type of parent. I'm like, yeah, the Cardinals are good. Come on, pack your shit. We're going to the game. Not, or do we really have to go to the game? It's so embarrassing.
Mr. Optimist, do you have any uplifting words to help our spirits?
I want to say the most optimistic thing about this entire conversation is Kenan assuming he's going to have children. But
what the fuck is this?
But yeah, it's
Why
really odd.
Why you say me for?
It's just so odd living in a world.
Hey, put on that 50 Cent clip real quick. Just like throw it on.
Throw it in.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
I'll put it in later. I'll post produce it.
It's just absolutely
bro.
I don't know. It's weird wrapping your head around a Cardinals organization that's in the dumpster, and it still doesn't feel real to me, which is why I'm such an optimist when it comes to them. I just always think, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. But when you extend Ollie and all this shit keeps happening, it's hard to keep that optimism. And I might be giving up.
We missed the playoffs 3 years in a row in 16, 17, 18. That felt like rock bottom. At the end of the Mike Matheny era, they fired him right before the All-Star break in 2018, and then they got really good for a minute with Mike Schultz that missed the playoffs. I would love to have that team back. That team had no talent. That team had ancient Yadier Molina. Matt Carpenter was probably your best player. This is pre-Goldie. This is post-Holiday. They were a wasteland. Paul DeYoung came up, and he was really exciting. I was big on Aledmys Diaz the year before, and he fell off a clip, basically. He's doing well. I think he won a World Series with the Astros. I was a big fan of him. Waino wasn't good those years. We signed Mike Leake, and he was terrible. Like, there was basically felt like no future with the team. But at least it felt like the players cared. It felt like they were giving it their best. It felt like a scrappy team really trying. This feels like a bunch of good players that just suck now. This is more frustrating than 2016 to 18 because you look at the players you have and there should be expectations to be good. And they're not. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to be good.
You know, Harry, like you said, we thought we hit rock bottom back then. This type of level of Cardinals baseball right now, it's P. Diddy's basement.
Okay, that's disgusting. That is just obscene.
I'm sorry. Are you going to cut this part?
That is why Tommy's making comments
Bro.
questioning the future children, the future Kanan Bielovats Juniors of the world.
And
I'm
I
not
held,
gonna-
bro,
I'm
I
not
held
gonna-
back. Kanan, I held back a Drake joke earlier just for you to throw this out here.
Okay, this is revolting. I can't do this anymore.
Oh,
You know,
God.
you know what? Enough of this. Enough making me sad with all the just absolutely obscene humor and baseball team. We're gonna move on to the draft.
Yep.
We got a good one today. I think Tommy is the one that recommended it. But we have the biggest villains in the history of sports. What does this mean? Just an athlete that, whether it's a team they played for, team they played against a lot, team they dominated, team they just had beef with, players that were just straight up hated. So I think this is going to be pretty interesting. I feel like there's going to be a lot of different perspectives. And I'm really curious to see how this plays out. So, Tommy, you won the shake pre-recording, so you will be picking first.
Yeah, I'll start with an obvious one. I'll go Tom Brady.
Yep.
The absolute GOAT. I mean, I don't think I've met maybe a handful of people who actually respect him and like him from the Midwest. I might be the only one. Like I've always loved him. And anytime I bring that up, people give me a look. It's like you're disgusting. It's like fuck Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady, and I've never. I guess I do understand it, but it's like, come on, you have to respect greatness.
Did you like the roast?
Oh, that was insane.
It was really good.
Comedy is back.
Comedy's back. That's a good pick. I think that's pretty obvious. Round one, pick one. Kanan, you're on the clock.
You know, I'm a big basketball guy, and there's been a lot of villains in that day. You know, you got the Dennis Rodmans, you got the Isaiah Thomases, you got the Market, but I gotta go Draymond Green because that man, everybody wants to see him fail. He's the complete opposite of Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's love and sunshine, the yin, rainbows and puppies. Then Draymond Green kicks him in the nuts and just enters absolute carnage. Steven Adams, victim. Nurkic, victim. Rudy Gobert got put in a sleeper hold live on national television. Victim. I mean, how many more times is this guy going to go to therapy and get stuff fixed? Oh, I went to therapy with Steve Kerr and then I cried.
He's not going to therapy.
No, you didn't, bro. I guarantee you, next season, he's going to do something and they're going to toss his ass into Arkham. Everybody who hates this guy, they label him as a dirty player, Mr. Triple Single. This guy, like, I've never met somebody that actually has Draymond Green as their favorite player. My dad was watching the Suns Warriors game when Nurkic got kicked in the balls, and you guys know Nurkic is Bosnian. My dad immediately stood up and started yelling at this man through a screen. He can't hear you, but that's how much hate that everybody has for this man. They see his face, they think of Donkey from Shrek, and they just hate. They hate, and with good reason too. But he's still a great basketball player. Don't get me wrong, but he's just a dick.
Fair enough. All right. I'm up next. I'm going to ask a question. Tommy, what's your favorite 30 for 30 that ESPN's put together?
You know, I liked the one about Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Kanan?
Bad boys.
Bad Boys, that's another good one. My personal favorite would be I Hate This Man, the handsome devil for the Blue Devils, Christian Leitner.
That's
Mhm.
that was gonna be my next pick.
Was there a more hated player at any point in time than Christian Leitner for Duke when they won back-to-back championships, kicking players on Kentucky when they're down, then hitting the shot, basically bullying his own starting point guard Bobby Hurley, still selling shirts saying "F you, Christian Leitner," basically. I mean, I think that's the clear-cut answer for me.
He made a nice little brand off of that, but
He did. And he seems like a good guy, honestly, off the court.
yeah, I definitely have a beer with him. But Grayson Allen hopes to be like him. Like,
I feel like that could be an answer at some point down the road. I'm not going to take him, but I do agree. Grayson Allen was kind of cut from the same cloth in a way. So I'm up again. We're doing 3 rounds, by the way. I think we've got a pretty good first round. You know, we say villains. We're not exactly talking about athletes. They can also be coaches. And I think this guy was a bigger villain to teams he used to be a part of than teams he went up against. I can't think of a man that has a worse reputation than Bobby Petrino.
oh yeah,
Whether it's Arkansas, whether it's the Atlanta Falcons, basically every team that he has gone through has bad things to say about him. Scandals, up and leaving, just being a bad coach, being a bad person in general. I mean, Bobby Petrino just completely tarnished any legacy he's had.
Jesus. You mentioned coaches. Can I throw an owner onto it?
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think both of you know, and this is coming from a deep, deep sense of hatred, but Stan Kroenke. This man is the devil reincarnated, died again, and formed somehow an even worse person. The most evilest billionaire I ever met.
You met a lot of billionaires?
I met 2. Thank you very much.
Met Kroenke?
I actually did, and I wanted to spit in his face.
Interesting.
10-year-old Kanan I was like, oh, we're not leaving St. Louis. That was a lie.
You're 10 and your first thought is, hey, Stan Kroenke, I'm going to spit in his face.
I wanted to spit in his eye, but I was too short by then. But he basically said, oh, we don't care about the Rams. Oh, you're not giving us the facility. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Well, you could have sold the Rams to I think his name is Saad Khan of the Jaguars. He wanted to keep the Rams in St. Louis, and St. Louis is a football town. Thomas can vouch for that because every weekend he's probably at a Battlehawks game. But I don't understand why. Like, he saw money, and hey, from one person who chases a bag to another, good for you. But as a St. Louis fan, go yourself, Kroenke, you piece of shit.
I think the biggest Kroenke story is that he bought a ranch in Texas and forced a bunch of owners off their property, and one guy killed himself and listed Stan Kroenke in the suicide note.
Oh,
that's a big.
I've never heard about that.
That's the biggest Stan Kroenke story. I'll send you guys the link. Tommy, you're up.
I'm gonna go off the beaten path here. Gonna go with Tanya Harding.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if that debacle went down in the social media age?
That's like one of the moments I wish social media is around for the most. Can you imagine the memes about Tanya Harding getting Nancy Kerrigan whacked?
I mean, kneecapping a woman in front of the entire sports world. Come on.
What's Harding was the better figure skater.
Yeah,
she still kneecapped the bitch.
Nancy Kerrigan hit her right in the knee. Yep.
I think she hired somebody, but doesn't matter.
It was her boyfriend.
And like it was like a baton or something like that.
Yeah.
What a wild time to be alive.
It's a good movie, by the way. Margot Robbie plays
her role
quite well.
Yeah.
And then, man, I got a lot of choices here. I'm gonna do another weird one. I'm gonna go with Jake Paul.
That is not a ridiculous pick.
Go with Jake Paul because, come on, like very few people like him. He's so hateable, and he carved out a lane for himself. And honestly, he's knocked out some pretty prolific fighters. I mean, he knocked out Tyron Woodley, who's I believe a belt holder in the UFC. I mean, that's insane. You wouldn't ever expect that from a YouTube kid. So
Disney
those
Channel
Paul
star.
brothers are athletes, though. I can't even lie.
Harry?
I said a Disney Channel star. Not gonna
Oh yeah, that's right.
professional fighter.
All
What-
right. Well, I'm going to go with a man inside the combat sports world. A man who never really had offense. Well, that's a lie because he's undefeated, Mr. 50-0, Floyd Money Mayweather. But he would land a couple hits and then just run for the entire fight. I remember watching so many fights of his, and I wanted him to get knocked out because I hated the way he was boxing. Tommy, I'm pretty sure I don't know if you agree with that. That he's just like he talks so much shit and then runs and then wins and then repeats, does it again and again and again. And that's why he's 50-0. But I remember I think it was the Canelo Alvarez fight. I had Canelo gonna win that, but he just ran from him. Like if Canelo got that was a young Canelo, I think too. Yeah, it was a young Canelo as well. I think that was 2015. I want to say some around there. But Canelo should have killed him. He really should have. We would have been over all this Floyd Money Mayweather stuff. Still boils me to this day that he beat Pacquiao, Ortiz. God, I hate that guy, but I respect him.
I was thinking about Mayweather. That's a really good pick. I mean, you got pundits talking bad about him. You had one guy interview him in the ring after he won a fight, saying he would kick his ass if he were younger. That interview is awesome. If you go back and watch that one. I'm in between two. So, leave it up to you guys. Kenan, one or two?
Two.
Two, I think that's a better pick. I'm going to take Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds obviously looked back on, honestly, pretty fondly. All-time home run leader. Had 4 of the most ridiculous seasons you've ever seen, but he was hated, man. I don't think there's ever been an athlete that had a worse reputation in the media. They despised each other. Not to mention the perjury case. Not to mention those two things probably being the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame when he's a clear-cut, maybe the best baseball player of all time, roids or not. You can't teach hands with roids. He had some of the best, some of the best hands you've ever seen, but still, he lied in court, and he was terrible to the media members that do vote him into the Hall of Fame. The guy's a villain. Make no mistake about it. So I think that wraps it up. Tommy,
And what's crazy?
go ahead.
What's crazy is even before the roids, this man had a Hall of Fame career.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was a go guaranteed 30-30 guy basically. Grew up in baseball. He had all the makings of a Hall of Famer. But to wrap it up, Tommy went with Tom Brady, Tanya Harding, and Jake Paul. I think this is maybe the most diverse draft we've ever had, by the way. Kenan went with Draymond Green, Stan Kroenke, and Floyd Mayweather. I went with Christian Laettner, Bobby Petrino, and Barry Bonds. I don't know who you guys think of when you think villains. You might have your own list. Feel free to leave a comment. Let us know who you guys think are your 3 biggest villains that maybe we didn't have. Some of my honorable mentions, I went with Kyrie Irving, Coach Mike Krzyzewski, Kyle Busch, and the other guy I was in between with Barry Bonds was Alex Rodriguez. I'm not sure what kind of honorable mentions you guys had.
Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was huge for me. And then
I didn't have Bonds, unfortunately.
Marshall Henderson was also a runner-up.
Fuck, I forgot about him. Holy fuck.
We've got a lot of bleeps here.
We're
This is
really gonna overuse the bleep button. It might be a long edit tonight. So
But I had McGregor, I had John Calipari, and Angel Hernandez as well.
oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah, like he played victim. He was like, "Oh, the MLB doesn't want me officiating in the World Series because I'm Cuban."
No, it's just because you suck, dude.
You suck at your job, you prick.
Take a shot every time Kenan cusses, by the way.
I'm
Don't.
sorry.
We should make a tally like that South Park episode, but I'm not.
My AC is broken in my house, and I'm sweating. I'm sorry, boys.
I mean, I can live with the cussing, but the Diddy joke, man, that was just pure filth.
Bro, when Kanan said that Drake only allowed Wemby on stage, I was gonna say,
I saw you like tweet.
I saw the twinkle.
Say something.
I saw the twinkle.
I was gonna say that's because the rest of the team is too old for him.
We're wrapping it up. That's the end of this episode. We gotta call it on that one. If you're looking back, listening to this, I think you know what time and pop culture we're in right now. We sent a bunch of insane disses with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I'm still trying to keep up with all of it, but just a wild week in all things entertainment and sports. So we're glad we could break down a little bit of it for you guys. That's Kanan Bielovac. Do you have something to say?
One question: what kind of pitch do you sing in?
Man, I don't know.
No.
Were you gonna say A minor?
Yep.
Like an absolute scumbag. He's Kanan Bielovac. That's Thomas Fornes. My name is Harry Loomis. This episode's gone off the deep end. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you for the next episode of Unsportsmanlike content. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Unsportsmanlike content.